Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to the channel. So today I am participating in a dip collaboration. This is called Dip Cember and it's hosted by Angela. She has a channel called The Inquisitive Farm Wife and I actually just did one of her festive cranberry salad recipes and it was delicious. Angela has rounded up a bunch of us to put together this collaboration of all different types of dips or dip mixes that you can make throughout the month of December. So I'm participating in that. Angela, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited about it. Make sure you check out the playlist below and go check out all these other amazing dip recipes, guys. I am just blown away by the creativity out there. All right guys, so let's get into this dip. What I'm going to be making today is a Reuben dip. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Carolina and I live in Montana. I do a lot of food bank hauls, pantry cooking, and canning and preserving on my channel. If that's the kind of content you're into, I hope you consider subscribing. I would love to have you join my family. I also have a Facebook group, Mama Baird's Homestead. We do a lot of recipe swapping and you can post a picture of something that you don't know what to do with and a bunch of people will jump in and give you different ideas. And it's just overall a great support group and I'm super proud of it. So I would love for you to come and join that as well. I can leave that linked below. But for now, let's get into this dip and I'll show you how to make it. For this Reuben dip, I'm going to be using some home canned corned beef that I did back in June just to get a bunch out of my freezer that I got at the end of March for St. Patrick's Day. Now this looks kind of cloudy and stuff because I haven't shaken it, but this is just raw packed corned beef. I did do a video on this. I can link it below if you're interested in that. And then I'm going to be using some home canned sauerkraut. I did this back in April of 2020 and it really needs to get used up. It's funny how I got this cabbage was I was working at Applebee's and because of the pandemic, we just all of a sudden dropped in business and we still had a full truck come and we had a bunch of cabbage and peppers and tomatoes that were going bad. So my boss let me take home cases of cabbage and tomatoes and that was my very first canning project was learning how to make sauerkraut and I canned up some stewed tomatoes. So it's a fun memory when I look at the sauerkraut, but it is time to use it up. So we're gonna use up the last of the sauerkraut. All right, story time's over. I got some cream cheese here. It calls for Thousand Island dressing, and when I was at the store, the only ingredient I had to actually buy for this was Swiss cheese. This one block of Swiss cheese. All the rest I had in my pantry, so that was really nice. You could also use any leftover corned beef that you made. You can freeze that, or you can use canned corned beef. That would be fine as well. But I had to get Thousand Island dressing, and I was like, oh, let me go get a thing of Thousand Island. And then I was like, you know what? I bet I could probably make it. And I looked it up, and I have every single ingredient to make Thousand Island dressing. So we're making homemade Thousand Island dressing while we're at it. Why not? So let's get in here and I'll show you how to put it together. All right guys, I got my setup all lined up on what I'm gonna need for this. So over here is just what I'm using for my Thousand Island. And then over here is what I'm using for my dip. First thing I'm gonna do is take 8 ounces of cream cheese. I buy my cream cheese in bulk. So I'm just going to take roughly a block here. And then I am going to zap this in the microwave for probably about 30 seconds because it's been sitting out but not enough to make it completely soft. So I'm gonna go zap this and I'll be right back. While our cream cheese is melting, I'm going to strain off my sauerkraut really good. You want about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. I'm just gonna use the whole rest of that jar to get it out of my fridge. And then let's make our Thousand Island. So I have half an onion here that I need to use up. I just got lazy and did not finish chopping this. But you want to actually grate your onion or you can fine mince it. But I'm just gonna grate it here. Let's see if I can do this. This will make it nice and small. So it has the flavor without the texture. All right, so we want roughly 1/4 of a cup. That's not bad, that was about half an onion. We're gonna add 1 cup of mayonnaise to this 1/4 cup of onion. Now I'm just eyeballing this, especially when it comes to like mixing recipes and stuff. Like as long as it's not baking, it's totally okay to eyeball stuff without having to stress yourself out. Okay, I added 2 tablespoons of ketchup to this, and now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sweet relish. This is sweet relish that I re-canned from a big bulk bag that I got from Costco. So if you are interested in seeing that video, I can show you how to do that. That's a good way to save money. Re-can from bulk. And then we're just gonna add a teaspoon of lemon juice. Like that. A little bit of smoked paprika, about half a teaspoon. You could also do sweet paprika, that would be good. That's what gives it its red tint. And then just like a little bit of salt, quarter teaspoon or so. And that's all to it, guys. That's the only thing that is in Thousand Island dressing. So I don't know about you, but I had all that stuff at home. I was like, oh, I don't need to buy store-bought Thousand Island dressing. That's what I want you guys to start thinking, is when you see something and you need to pick up an like Thousand Island dressing that you need to pick up for a certain recipe, start thinking, can I make that at home? Do I have the stuff to make that at home? And you would be surprised how much stuff you can make at home from everyday ingredients, and it's going to be so much better. Let's give this a taste. Wow, guys, that's so good. Woo! Oh yeah. Awesome. All right, so there's our dressing. Check. I'm gonna put that there. Let's go check our cream cheese. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's better. That was just 30 seconds. All right, that. Next, I'm also gonna strain off this corned beef, but I am going to keep the juice. Does that work? Yep. That's about 4 ounces or so. And then you can also use deli pastrami or deli corned beef as well, guys. You don't have to do home corned beef. Now there's some broth you can add either to like a stock or something, or a stew, or I might drizzle that over my dog's food this morning. He'll like that. So to the cream cheese, I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I'm going to add a sprinkle of the paprika, the smoked paprika as well. You could also use chili powder if you want a little kick. And then I'm gonna add some sour cream. Let me mix this up. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of sour cream to this. And then we're going to do about half a cup of our Thousand Island dressing. There we go. And then we have some extra for something else. What do you guys use extra Thousand Island dressing for? You just like it on salads? Now we're going to mix all this up. I'm gonna switch to I don't really like the sound of a fork in a glass bowl, so we're gonna switch. I don't need you anymore. Get the fork out of here. All right. Oh yeah, that's better. So we're just gonna mix all this up. Oh, it looks good already. All right, and then I'm gonna add the corned beef in there. Now that one had the pickling spice. I'm gonna put that in there. I think that'll be good. And then I'm gonna grate some cheese in there. And then we're gonna do a total, you need a total of 2 cups of cheese, and a quarter of it goes on top. All right, add our cheese in there, our corned beef. And look, that corned beef just shreds as you mix it because it was cooked in the pressure canning process, and it's just so tender, guys. Oh, that looks so good. So if you were using deli meat, I would chop your meat up super small instead of big chunks in here, so it kind of becomes like a pasté. Is that what it's called? Pate. Oh, sorry, a pate. Man, I'm trying to be all fancy, messed it up. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a taste though, see if it needs anything else. Oh, that tastes great. All right, I'm gonna be putting this in a pie plate here. Nice pie plate. This is one that has a lid on it. So if you need to take it places, it's really nice. It has pre-covered. I can link this below if you're interested in this. And then you're just gonna plop your dip in there. This can totally be made up the day before and then just cooked whenever you're ready for it. Alright, so you're just gonna spread it out. Have some fun with it. Don't be OCD. Okay. And then we're gonna top it with our sauerkraut. Now this sauerkraut was drained and squeezed out. So I got as much of the moisture out as I could. And you're just gonna sprinkle this on top. Yeah, perfect. And then let's top it with more cheese. Whoop, wrong end. Should have left my cheese in the fridge so it'd be colder. It's easier to grate cheese. You can even stick it in the freezer for like 10 minutes before you're gonna grate it, and it comes out beautiful. I like buying cheese. I could have bought shredded Swiss, but I didn't even think about it because I always get block cheese because it's just so much better, especially if you need it for that melting factor. Okay, just enough cheese to get the top going over here. So this is going in a 400-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. So whenever a recipe says 15 to 20 minutes, I always like to set it for like 13. That way you don't know if your oven is different than theirs. So it's always better to go with the lower amount and then start checking it. So let's put this in for 13 and then we'll check it. She's sizzling. Just inhale the smell. Man, you walk by someone with this dip, you walk on by, they're gonna be like, hey, what you got? This looks so good, guys. So I did end up doing it for the full 20 minutes. Ow, it's hot. The suggested vessel of the dip to your mouth would be a piece of rye bread or pumpernickel, you know, to kind of imitate a Reuben. But I got some chips here. It'll make just a fine vessel. That looks really hot. Man, it looks so creamy though. I'm impatient. I want it. Get in my belly. Holy moly. That sauerkraut on top is not overpowering, but it has like that hint of the vinegar fermented taste to it. With the cheese and that homemade Thousand Island makes a huge difference, guys. Like, and look how much, I had all those ingredients at home. Look how much we have left over. Please don't be intimidated to try and make your own dressings or make your own food, guys. A lot of this stuff you will have at home, or it's a lot cheaper to make it yourself. Now the best part is if I was taking this to a party or something, you just put the lid on it and away you go. They also have these in 9x13s. I can leave those linked below. I use a lot of those to use for my freezer. I'll make freezer meals and put them in there and then stick them in the freezer, so that way you don't have to use a bunch of foil and saran wrap for that. I hope you give this recipe a try. Make sure you check out all the other channels doing this collaboration and check out all the festive dips you can make for this year for any holidays or just for yourself if you get the munchies, you know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time on Mama Baird's.